So basically we have a table with 4 columns, and then let us assuming that this table has more than 2 trillion records. Assuming that this table has more than 2 trillion records. So we have more than 2 trillion records in the table. So we're trying to ask very simple questions on this table. Like I'm trying to ask very simple questions like, who are my top 5 I'm trying to ask very simple questions like, who are my top 5 customers? So when I ask this simple question, so it has to go to the entire table. It has to scan the customer column and amount column and get the result for us. So in order to basically get only 5 records to the top, in order to give the answer only for 5 records, it has to go to the entire 2 trillion records and scan the data, aggregate, and finally sort and give back the data. So in order to answer this question on a 2 trillion records, if the data, whatever is here, is on MS SQL, so at an average to answer this question on a 2 trillion records, it would take around at least 6 to 7 hours. Now the same table with the same contents now is available on HANA. The same data and the same table is on HANA, and you ask the same question. It would take around approximately 6 to 10 seconds. The same data, same contents, everything is same, but only the database is different. It would take around 6 to 10 seconds. Now why is that HANA takes 6 to 10 seconds whereas other databases take 6 to 7 hours approximately? Now what are the reasons behind it? Let us try to understand this. The reasons are, now why HANA is high performance, I'm trying to give you the reasons for this, is because number 1, HANA is a in-memory DB. 1 minute. The first reason is HANA is a in-memory database. Reason 2 is a column-oriented DB, and reason 3 is massively parallel processing. The first reason is it's an in-memory DB. So what's in-memory DB? Let us try to understand this. Now if you take a simple computer architecture, so in a computer mainly you have 3 components. One is called CPU, the second one is RAM, and the third one is hard drive. First one is CPU, RAM, and then third one is hard drive. So other databases like MS SQL, the primary way to store data for these databases, or Oracle, the primary way to store data is always on disk. But for HANA, the primary way to store data is always on memory. Now why is that SAP thought to put this 2 trillion records, the table which is on hard drive, which is on an iron plate, they would like to separate the content from a container called hard drive and put the same content into a different container called RAM, which is made up of transistors and capacitors. So this is made up of iron plate, this is made up of transistors and capacitors. SAP thought to change the content, separate the content from the container called hard drive and put it on memory. Now what is in-memory DB? Database is a collection of tables in memory. So tables in memory, what's the advantage? RAM is 100,000 times faster in processing the data. Reason 1. And reason 2, whenever we keep data close to the CPU, it's always faster to the front end. So instead of actually getting data from hard drive to the memory and to the CPU and to the front end, instead of that we reduce a layer. So whenever you reduce a layer, obviously it is performance optimized. So I'm trying to basically give two reasons over here. The first reason is whenever you keep data close to the CPU, it is faster because it doesn't have to go to the hard drive. And the second reason is memory is 100,000 times faster in processing the data. Now second thing, what is a column oriented DB? Let us try to understand this. Now databases are basically where data is organized in two ways. One is in a row oriented fashion, the other one in column orientation. Let me take another notepad. What is a column oriented DB? So basically you have tables where data is organized in rows and columns. So let us take, you have customer, product, amount and quantity. So now let's assume that this is row. And this one is column. Now we are trying to insert one record in the table. Let's say we're trying to insert some data, like for example 001 P1 100 10. So now the data is basically written into files. So you have one file where data is written something like this. So it's written organized in rows 001 P1 100 10. The second record I'm trying to insert 002 P2 200 and 20. Oops. And then so again this is second record, and third record 003 T3 330. So now we are trying to basically have three records. The first one, second record which is 002 to 20, and the third record 003 P3 and 30. So now we are trying to insert data into the table. Now if the data is stored in row oriented fashion, now suppose say I ask a question on this, ask a very simple question, the same question back, top one customer, who is the top one customer here? So when I try to fire a query, now it has to go and try to scan the data. So basically if I want to ask a question, who are my top one customer, then it can basically go to customer column and amount column. So in order to answer this question, I require only 2 columns. Yeah. But here it has to scan the entire data over here. So because if it has to go to the second record, then it has to go to 001, 100, 002, 200, 003 and 300. The total values I have here are 12 values, but I need only 6 values out of 12. But in this case, it has to scan the entire data set. Now, how it is different from column orientation? In row, it has to scan the entire data to give the answer. But in column, each column is stored in a separate file. Customer, product, amount, and quantity. So in this case, basically I keep writing the same data, like for example 001, 002, 003 and 004. So this data is for customer. The second one is product. P1, P2, P3 and P4. Amount. Here you have 100, 200, 300 and 400. And quantity 10, 20, 30 and 40. So if I ask the same question, who is the top customer in here, then basically what it tries to do is it goes to the customer column and it has to go to the amount column. It basically skips the product and it skips the quantity column. So column orientation is very, very good for reads or set processing of data. Whenever we do analytics, whenever we ask questions, probably we may not read the entire table. For example, in SAP, if you see, the tables are like 50, 100, 200 columns. So out of a 200 column table, I would only request probably 4, 5, 6, 10 columns, not the entire table always. Especially whenever you do analytics. We request few columns, but all the data in the column. Whereas in row orientation, it is optimized for inserting of data. So whenever you insert data, basically inserts in this fashion. So when you read the data, it has to skip the values in between. So the disadvantage in row is whenever you ask a question, it has to read the entire data set. In a column orientation, it only scans the required columns requested by the user. So the first reason is we would like to know why HANA takes only 6 to 7 seconds rather than 6 to 7 hours that is taken by MS SQL. So HANA is an in-memory DB. So in-memory DBs have faster performance. The reason being, data is directly stored on memory and data is kept close to the CPU. The second reason we are trying to understand is in a column-oriented DB, a column-oriented DB has higher performance because it does not have to scan the entire table. It only scans the required columns requested by the user. And third one we are trying to understand what is massive parallel processing. What is massively parallel processing? So whenever you have complex computing, for example, you have complex programs that you want to compute, then you have different operators in the program like you want to do union, joins, aggregations. So when you have a multi-core CPU, where you have multi-core CPUs, for example, let us take a CPU. Inside CPU we have 4 cores. Inside the CPU we have 4 cores. A core is nothing but a CPU inside a CPU. Core 1, Core 2, Core 3 and Core 4. So in a multi-core CPU, where each CPU tries to process an operator. So instead of sequentially processing, so previously what CPUs have to do is, so one CPU or one core will be assigned. So first it has to process this, and then process this, and then process, and then process. But now, whenever you deploy more resources, whenever you have more computing power to process complex programs or data, where larger programs are broken down into smaller subsets, and each subset is individually processed by CPU. So how fast it can process? So each core in HANA can process 3.2 billion records per second per core, and it can process 15 million aggregations per second per core. It is something like, I'll try to give a very simple example on this. For example, if you have a 4-storied building, then if you deploy one person to paint the entire 4-storied, so if he has to paint one floor a day, then it would take 4 days. Then if you have 4 people, if you increase the resources, the work done is faster. So it will only complete in 1 day. In the same way, whenever you increase the CPU power, each core can process 3.2 billion records per second per core and 15 million aggregations per second per core. It means that if you have 30 billion records and one core CPU, then it would take around 10 seconds approximately. And if you have 30 billion records, and then if you have 10 cores, it will take only 1 second. The more the resources you deploy, the faster the work done. So in-memory databases are faster because they store data directly on memory. Column-oriented tables are faster because they don't have to scan the entire table. They only have to scan the required columns requested by user. And the third one is in massive parallel processing, where large programs are broken down into smaller subsets, and each subset is individually processed by different CPUs, and it is 3.2 billion and 15 million aggregations per second per core. Now this is what HANA can do internally. Everything is done by HANA. HANA is programmed in such a way that it takes care of in-memory, column orientation and parallel processing. But what is our role on the project? So we are called as SAP HANA Application Consultants. Or HANA Data Modelers or HANA Developers. So in market, if you see, they would ask you HANA Application Consultant or HANA Modeler, SQL Scripting Consultant or HANA Developer. So basically we are eligible to apply these roles. So what are our primary responsibilities? Our primary responsibilities are three. One is called data modeling. The first one is data modeling. Data modeling, data reporting, and data provisioning. So if you see the landscape that we have in HANA, if you see how the HANA landscape looks, if you see SAP HANA landscape, then in this case, this is a OLTP system or source system. Source system or OLTP, online transaction processing. ECC stands for Enterprise Core Component. It's optimized for taking, or you have different business processes like sales and distribution, financials, HR, now to take care of different business processes, and MS SQL. Data provisioning, where you have, in data provisioning you have SLT, System Landscape Transformation, BODS, Business Objects Data Services, and DXC, Direct Extractor Connection, data provisioning. And here you have HANA, and then BOBI. So basically here, now first of all, now what is the reason that we would like to move the data from the existing MS SQL to HANA? So using data provisioning, you can move data from source system to target system. Now what is the reason behind that you would like to move data from source system to target system? Now, what is the reason behind this? The reason is, now the data in the source system is in row orientation. In HANA it is column oriented. The data is stored in hard drive. Here the data is stored in RAM. ECC does sequential processing of data, and here we do parallel processing of data. Now when you try to process data over here, it takes 6 to 7 hours, and here it takes only approximately, it's 6 to 10 seconds approximately for a 2 million records, so for a 2 trillion records. So that is the reason we would like to move a copy of data from here via data provisioning without disrupting the existing solution to HANA database. Now we would like to move data using SLT. SLT stands for SAP Landscape Transformation. SLT stands for SAP Landscape Transformation. This is to move data in real time. So this is to move data in real time transfer of data. So SLT is a tool, it basically keeps data in sync. So whenever you basically do inserts, updates, deletes on the database, whether it could be an SAP or a non-SAP, without any latency, it would transfer the data to HANA. Whether you could create a sales orders, billing documents, or deliveries, immediately they are updated to HANA. real-time transfer of data without any latency, SLT. You can ask questions like, what is my stock on a shop floor? What is the present stock that you have on the shop floor? So you could have real-time visibility of data. BODS stands for Business Objects Data Services. It's an ETL tool, extract, transform and load. It's an ETL tool. You can get data from heterogeneous source systems. You can do data cleansing. You can consolidate data, apply business rules. You can massage data in BODS and finally get into HANA. This is basically a batch process. So mainly it is optimized for batch, means scheduled process. For example, you can ask questions like, so payroll is basically processed not every day, probably it is processed 15 days or weekly or sometimes monthly. So in that case, now why do we want to use SLT for payroll data? Because there is no refresh of data on the source system. So especially when you're processing payroll data, and then you don't have to have real-time transfer of data for payroll because it's not going to refresh on a daily basis. So in those kind of scenarios where you want to do batch processing and also you want to apply complex business rules, you can go for BODS, Business Objects Data Services. DXC stands for Direct Extractor Connection. It's basically used to transfer data via HTTP. So it's basically used to transfer data via web to HANA. But for this you need to have BW system, business warehouse. You need to have business warehouse for using DXC. So usually if you see the data from ECC before HANA was introduced into market, we have a data warehousing solution in SAP which is called BW, Business Warehouse. It's an enterprise data warehousing solution. Usually data from this system goes to this system, but now using DXC you can bypass BW solution and take data to HANA. And also you have different data provisionings as well, like smart data access. Like you can integrate Hadoop with HANA using smart data access, because HANA limitation is it cannot process unstructured data. So that is the reason we process data in Hadoop for unstructured data and integrate to HANA, SDA, smart data access. So at the end of the course, data modeling is done in HANA Studio. We do data modeling here. Data reporting is done in BOBI, and data provisioning to move data from source system to target system, whether the source systems can be SAP or non-SAP. You can transfer data in real time or batch process, or you can get data from third-party databases using SDA, Smart Data Access, and load to HANA. So once the data is in HANA database, then we can start doing data modeling, nothing but defining relationship between tables. Whether you want to create entity relationship models or a multi-dimensional models. Like technically these are called as attribute views, analytic views, calculation views, different kinds of views that we create and finally present this data to the end user. So we have a integrated system landscape. So the system that we have, you will be given 3 months of server access along with all the course materials, certification materials. And so just to show you a preview of our landscape, so you have HANA Studio. Our course is based on the latest release, which is HANA SP9. So if you expand the instance, so this is called system. You have catalog and content. Catalog is a collection of schema, and once you expand the schema, is a collection of database objects. Like you have tables, expand these tables. Here you see, when you double click on any table here, now this table is a column store, and if you click on the runtime information, here you would see the total memory consumption of the table is 6430. And in the column store, basically you have two parts. One is delta storage and main store. So in HANA usually we do something called delta merge. We perform delta merge. So one more advantage of HANA is it also does dictionary compression or data compression. For example, if you have data 40 terabyte in your hard drive, so the same data you want to use it for HANA, then you don't require 40 terabyte of memory. You only require 10 terabyte of RAM because data is dictionary compressed. Just to show you a sample preview of that, perform delta merge. So previously the data is 6004, so it's approximately 6.4 MB. When I click OK and click refresh, now you see only it occupies only 1.5 MB of data. So dictionary compressed. So again, one more advantage of HANA is it does not require the same size as hard drive. It does dictionary compression by using different algorithms called run length encoding. So we'll see a detailed discussion on those classes in future classes. So basically these are column tables, and column tables have main and delta storage. Delta optimized for inserting and main optimized for reads, and it does dictionary compression. Using dictionary compression, it occupies less space on RAM, so customers does not have to invest more money on the hardware. Now here you see content. Now content is a collection of packages. Now packages are basically used to group together related information. Let me show you, I've done for the previous class some exercises over here. If you expand the development package, here you would see different views that we created for data modeling. So these are the different data models we create for master data modeling, attribute views, analytic views for creating star schemas, and calculation views. So we create this kind of data models. So all this we do in the HANA Studio for data modeling. So calculation views of type star joins. So once you do all the data modeling in HANA, so all the data modeling is basically done at the HANA Studio. Here we do data modeling. So data provisioning is where we basically use SLT. In the data provisioning you use SLT, which is SAP landscape transformation, is to move data in real time from source to target. SLT, SAP landscape transformation. And you also have something called BODS, Business Objects Data Services. 4.2 is the version, which is the latest version. So if you click on Data Services Workbench is the UI to replicate data from source system to target system. 4.2 SP2, which is the latest version. So BODS is basically to replicate data from source system to target system. So you create different replication jobs and move these tables from source to target. BODS, Business Objects Data Services, BODS Workbench. And the last one, or the other important data provisioning, is DXC, direct extractor connection. We'll see in coming classes very detailedly. Just today I'm trying to give a very high level overview. SAP HANA direct extractor connection, services up and running. And apart from this, you also have different reporting tools. For example, I've drawn one diagram for students. So as a part of BOBI, we are going to see integration of different reporting tools. All these are different reporting tools. Analysis for OLAP, analysis for Office, Web Intelligence, Crystal Reports Enterprise, Design Studio, Lumira, Explorer, Native Excel, and third-party reporting tools. How these different BOBI, or the presentation layer, how it consumes data from HANA. After performing data models, these data models can be consumed in different reporting tools. So we're going to look in all these aspects. So the class will be basically for 30 to 35 hours, and daily it will be for 1 hour session. I'll provide material, whatever help from my side. I've been training more than 500 participants until now. I've delivered trainings for SAP. I've delivered trainings for SAP partners. I've done corporate trainings. I usually also take online training. So training is being my passion for almost now 3.5 years. Again, this is Nagarjuna, into SAP for almost 13 years. If anyone have any questions regarding this, you can go ahead and ask me. Any questions you have, feel free to ask me any questions that you have. I'll try to guide you as much as possible.
Sir, only
Hi, Ranjan here.
hello.
Yes, please, Ranjan. Please go ahead.
Hi, Ranjan here.
Yes, please go ahead.
Are you going to demonstrate some real-time project?
Yeah, we are going to take 2 projects, that is from controlling profitability analysis and then sales and distribution. And also I'm going to give assignments on a daily classes, and we would be looking into different scenarios.
Okay.
All right?
And will you have regular classes or?
Regular classes, yes, daily class.
So every Monday to Friday or every day it will be?
Monday to Friday. Or we can have Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday. It's okay for me.
Monday to Saturday.
Yeah, Monday to Saturday.
Monday to Saturday.
Yeah, it's fine with me, no problem. And we can discuss.
How long it will take?
We can discuss with other participants as well, and we'll decide on the timing. All right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And it will be on the same time, 10 o'clock?
Yeah, it'll be most probably on the same time. Yes.
Okay. And how long it will take to complete?
Almost it should take 6 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks.
Okay. Okay. And are you going to help on HANA certification?
Yes, I'm going to do that. So most of the participants of training, everyone has cleared certification. Everyone has got more than 90%. 100% you will clear the certification. The course is not only designed for certification, but also it would help you on the real working environment.
Okay, okay.
Please feel free to ask questions.
Will you help on some real-time project that we can show on the?
Yeah, we will work on that, because we almost have. I have created here, if you see, for students to practice. So we almost have calculation views of 768. So it is based on different functional areas. So coming to finance, all the different calculation views. So I will give you an assignment on this so you can, because the projects which I explained would be how it will be in the real time. But everyone will explain the same problem, everyone will land up in trouble. So what we will do is, so once we see a detailed explanation of all the projects, then I will give you assignments on the different projects to you. Then you can work on that particular area based on your expertise on a particular functional area. For example, some people may be interested in sales and distribution. Can someone, could you please unmute? Could you please unmute? Mute. Okay. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, whatever the functional area that you feel comfortable, you can take that. For example, probably some people are interested in sales and distribution. Or you can take finance, you can take material management, any of that. So if you want to ask question, you can unmute yourself and ask questions. Anyone who want to ask question, you can unmute yourself and ask question.
What are the prerequisites to learn SAP HANA?
One by one, please. Kindly, please, one by one.
I'm asking, what are the prerequisites to learn SAP HANA being an SAP consultant?
There are no prerequisites either for SAP or non-SAP. From the day one, we would take a topic and I would go in detail. But today, being a demo class, I was trying to demonstrate various aspects of HANA. But on a daily class, we would take one topic and see details about it. And there is no prerequisite at all. All that you need to know, what is a table, what is a join.
Okay, do we need to know SQL as well?
So whatever is necessary for SQL, I would teach you in the class itself.
Okay.
But most of the time it is data modeling, model to code approach.
Nagarjuna is here. For database administration, do we need to learn these all modules or only for separate modules for database administrators?
It's not necessary. And one more thing, our course is based on standard SAP training material, which is called HA100, which is HA100, HA300, HA350, and HA900. So HA100 is Introduction to HANA. HA300 is Advanced Data Modeling and Implementation. HA350 is basically covering, so both these are for modeling, and HA350 is for data provisioning, and HA900 is directly ECC on HANA. So you will also have a scenario where ECC is not only on MS SQL, you also have a scenario where you have the OLTP system directly sitting on HANA, and this is called as HANA Live. This is called as HANA Live solution, where you can have the entire ECC, which is business suite of applications sitting on the HANA database. And this is a sidecar approach. Sidecar approach means we don't disrupt the existing solution. We keep the solution as it is, and then we move on data using data provisioning to the target system. All right?
Okay. For database administration, then which module we have to learn? That 900, right?
Yeah, for database administrator, what I suggest you is you have to go for an admin course, that is an administrator. Basically in HANA, you have two types of courses. One is called data modelers, okay, or HANA application consultants, or you also have something called HANA developers.
Okay.
So the course that I'm teaching you here will be suitable for these three roles. But on the other side, you have HANA admin. And what is HANA admin? What is the responsibilities of HANA administrator? And these guys does system sizing, implementation of installation of HANA, patching, lifecycle management, integration with solution manager, and data migration. All these are taken care by an integration of different tools like SLT, BODS and DXC configurations. So all this is done by the administrators. Like what usually an admin does, the same things will be done by the administrator in HANA. And this is something like, and for this you do have prerequisite. What prerequisite do you have? You need to know SUSE Linux. Could you please? You need to know SUSE Linux. You need to have a good understanding of setting up data center. You also need to have good understanding on the networks, and then you can go to this course. But for this course, which is called HANA Data Modelers or Application Consultant, there is no prerequisite. It's only all that you need to know is, and most of the participants recently who are actually freshers, they have secured jobs in Infosys. Some people got into NTT Data, some people into Deloitte. They were having 3 years of experience, overall 3 years experience and 1.5 years in HANA. So they were getting salary around 5.2 and between 5.2 and 7. So it means that what I'm trying to say for a HANA application consultants, so even freshers can also take in this course, not only experienced people who are coming from SAP background.
Hi Nagarjuna, Gaurav this side.
Yes, Gaurav, please.
Yeah. Actually, I was just googling about this 7.4 certification of HANA, and I found that there is a book which is prescribed for that is BW 262, I believe.
It is 362.
So, your course will,
it is 362, not 262.
Yeah, I am mistaken. So what I'm saying is your course content will be based on that book also, or I mean, because these all these books is HANA 100, 300, and 350 and 900 is basically for HANA certification, not SAP BW on HANA.
Yes.
But I think as a BW consultant, we should be looking. I'm looking for this 7.4 certification.
Excellent. So your background is BW consultant, am I right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So BW consultants, now what is the role of BW consultant in HANA project? Okay, now there are approximately 14,000 customers for BW, and you have 2,65,000 customers for the entire SAP system. So, and in the 2,25,000 customers, in 2,65,000 customers, and only 14,000 customers are there for BW. For BW, the next step is you need to learn first HA 100, 300, 350, 900. Now once you complete HANA modeling, then you go for advanced BW modeling, which is called BW 362. Now this is especially for consultants who are coming from BW background. Now HANA is not relevant only for BW, but it is also relevant. It is relevant for 2,65,000 customers. But this is the path. This is the learning path for BW consultants. And for HANA consultants, this would be HA 100, 300, 350, and 900. Now for you, this is the path. So actually, I also teach BW 362. So once you complete this course, then you can go for this course. Because already you know BW, so first you have to learn this and then learn this. Because especially on the project, you do something called mixed modeling. So whenever you do mixed modeling, then you need to have your strength on HANA data modeling as well as BW data modeling. And then you will know what are the best practices to build data modeling in HANA, what are the best practices to build in BW. Now if you see in the HANA Studio, you have something called BW modeling. Am I right? Please see on the top. Here you have something called BW modeling. So here you have something called mixed modeling, where you can do modeling in BW, something like you can see here info providers, where you can access all the BW models like info objects, info cubes, composite providers. So this is especially for a BW consultant. Like you can access the BW screens directly in the HANA Studio. So which is data warehousing workbench. So this is mostly relevant for BW consultants for BW 362, where you can do native HANA modeling directly in the HANA. You can create composite providers, open ODS views. All these are for BW, and that is, I mean, especially for people coming from BW background, they have to go take this path. All right.
Okay, so you mean to say that BW is gonna be obsolete in the new scenario, I mean sooner or later?
It means, I mean, we may not say like that because there are a lot of customers who are using BW, and most of the customers would be using HANA as their database. So still BW is valid for enterprise data warehousing solution, because BW is very strong in something called BI content. They have rich content to integrate data between various SAP source systems. So it's basically a solution for enterprise data warehousing rather than a database solution. HANA is purely a application platform and a database solution. All right.
Hi.
Okay.
We have HANA Studio, we have UI5 tool integrated also there.
Yes, correct. You also have UI5 integrated here.
And that is called HANA Access.
Yes, correct. For this, for Access Engine, it's a lightweight web application server which is inside HANA. You can expose data after you do data modeling. You can expose those data using UI5.
So as we have UI5 integrated in HANA,
Yeah.
then what is the need advantage of going for BIBW? The same reporting we can do using UI5 tool also.
Yeah, UI5 is only the presentation layer, but again, you don't have that flexibility to create self-service BI reports. Usually, if you see different BI tools that you see here, now analysis for OLAP is for multidimensional reporting, web intelligence for ad hoc reporting. Even in reporting portfolio, you have a lot of tools over here, like Lumira, which is a cloud-based analytics tool. Explorer is like a Google-like search reporting. Excel, where users love Excel to do reporting on Excel, so they're going to use native Excel. So we basically focus on different communities of business users, coming to the executive level to the operational level user. For example, now executive level users probably want to see data on a very summarized way. For example, they would like to see what is the sales of India rather than looking into what is a particular product and why this product is a slow selling item. Yeah. So the same way UI5 is also a presentation of data that you can use to expose data from HANA to the front end, but without having BOBI tools.
So are you going to give an overview of that?
Yes, exactly.
HANA Access?
Yes.
Okay. So for that JavaScript knowledge is required, right?
JavaScript is basically taken care by a different consultant who are called Java developers. So we are going to limit to the data modeling. So once you do data modeling, now like other databases, like for example, if you take a database like Oracle, MS SQL or HANA, everything is same. Like how you have Java developers for these databases, you also have for HANA as well. The same Java developer will be also be used for HANA projects. Because if you see a client like Walmart, where they have different databases, they have Teradata, they have MS SQL, they have Oracle, they have HANA. So the same developer will be used to read data from all these different databases.
Okay.
Hello, this is Dheeraj here.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
they are going to use the same HANA Studio for that HANA Access as well as for modeling?
Yeah, correct.
Or
So
they have some...
no, they can use something called. They're going to use the same thing, but you have here. If you see here, you have something called If you go to the visualization, here you have something called Java, and you can use something called HANA development phase. But we are basically HANA modelers,
Okay.
and you have HANA development, and this is going to be used by the Access engine. For example, if you double click on the instance, then here you can go to the system information and expand configuration, and here you see a lightweight web application server which is called Access engine, which is sitting inside the HANA database.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Hi, this is Abdul.
Hi Abdul, how are you?
I am fine. Actually, I am a BI consultant. I want to do in 7.4 certification. Can you go directly 365 without HANA?
No, Abdul, I really don't recommend. I'm sorry, could you please mute yourself? I don't really recommend to go, because it will be no use, Abdul, because unless and until you understand the core HANA modeling principles, it is very difficult to understand BW362.
But in HANA, we want to learn in BODS as well as SQL. It's all different, right?
BODS is basically a different consultant altogether. But here we are going to focus on the integration part to HANA.
Okay. So SQL also can learn, na? Like
here you have something
like
called
in BI. Okay, sorry. Carry on.
In here you have something called C functions.
Okay.
So where they're going to be used in HANA.
Okay.
Same like how you write routines in BW. Here you have something called C functions.
Okay, that. So we don't want to learn BOBA, right?
No, not necessarily. No, BOBI is a different consultant altogether, but we are going to see integration to HANA.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
Hi, Nagarjuna, this is Gaurav again.
Hey Gaurav, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sorry. Actually, I'm a bit confused. There's a HANA thing and there's a 7.4. As I know, this 7.4 also they have this BW on HANA, and they also support this HANA Lumira and all those things. So, can you please explain it a bit more? I think I'm a bit confused.
No, don't worry. Yeah. So basically, if you see, let's say before 2010, what was the scenario? The scenario was, initially when SAP came into market, now you only have one solution, that is the OLTP system, where they used to do inserting as well as reads of data. That time it is called as R3. Okay. So the SAP wanted to have something called a data warehousing solution. Then they introduced something called BW, Business Warehouse. It's a data warehousing solution, enterprise data warehouse. Now every day we keep on moving the data from here to here. And then there was a role called BW consultant. So what is the role of a BW consultant is, he does data modeling, like creating of cubes, star schemas, and he basically move the data from this to here and then do data reporting, a presentation of data. But over the time, what happened is, the volume of data is so much high that BW was unable to process. So users used to get frustrated to get these reports on the BW system. They're very slow. Then SAP came up with a solution called HANA in 2010. It's an in-memory DB. So now there are scenarios where you don't require BW but directly take data from OLTP system to HANA. So in this case, if you see my diagram, you don't see BW at all here, right? You don't see, because BW was used when HANA was not introduced. So we used to do data modeling, data reporting, and data provisioning at the BW. Now the same functionality has moved to HANA. So we are called as SAP HANA application consultants. So previously the same reports we used to develop in BW, but now we do it in HANA itself. So there is no
Okay, so is everything. Sorry, you carry on.
there is no necessity of BW solution. Without BW solution also you can do reporting on HANA. But what happened is there are a lot of customers who have already heavily invested in BW. Like for last 15 years, there are around 14,000 customers who have invested heavily in BW here. Now for them, what SAP has done is, if this BW system is using database like MS SQL, because BW system is database agnostic. It means that it can have Oracle, it can have MS SQL, it can have IBM DB2 as its database. Now, instead of using these databases, you can migrate the database from MS SQL to HANA, and suddenly the BW is very faster. BW system is faster. So that is the reason you have BW solution. All right.
Okay, so everything which we used to do in BW, like modeling, transformation, and everything, now we will do everything in HANA. This
Exactly.
is what.
Exactly.
Okay, so I mean, probably this word will be obsolete, but the functionality will remain the same in HANA. I mean,
Exactly.
sooner or later, SAP will push that we won't support BW, we need to move into HANA, then probably all customer will move into HANA.
Exactly.
So
That should be somewhere. That should be somewhere near in 2020 or something like that.
Okay, I understood. So basically, then 7.4, and because 7.4 also supports your HANA's or HANA info provider like composite provider and
Yeah.
the BW providers, which is multi-provider and all that, right?
Yeah, but in a different.
In the HANA scenario, we only have the multi-composite provider, not the any multi-provider.
We have something called calculation view in native HANA, which does both the functionality of multi-provider and info set.
Okay. But composite provider also have the same functionality, right? Your inner joint and outer joint, or as a union.
Yeah, in a composite provider, basically you can do both joins and unions. That's the difference. In a multi-provider, you can only do unions. In infosets, you can do joins. That's different.
So in your course, you will gonna cover all these aspects in detail.
Yeah, that is on the BW 362. That is after this course. That is only relevant for BW consultants.
So in this course, what exactly means? Then what we are gonna cover with the connection thing, which is basically, I understand this XPI part used to be, right?
This course is basically covering data modeling, data reporting, and data provisioning, which is only
so when
for.
you say data modeling means what? I mean, the transformations which we used to have in BW, what, or there's some different modeling?
I think it's not able to. Yeah, basically these are the data models here: attribute views, analytic views. You require some time to understand. On the first day, it's very hard to understand everything, right? So over the time, you'll understand. We do data modeling like attribute views, analytic views, calculation views. Yeah.
Okay. That's all right.
I really understand your enthusiasm, but you have to be little patient, for 1 or 2 classes, then you'll have a clear picture what is going on here. But for now, what I'm trying to say is, whatever the data modeling, data reporting, and data provisioning, we're going to cover everything in perspective to HANA.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
please. Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir, Ankit here. Sir, just a small request from you that if it is possible, then you can please record all this video and store somewhere so that whenever we have some doubts, we can actually go through and refresh, or we can go through at the time.
Ankit, you will be given the recording option, so you can record on yourself. I'll be on the 4th session. From 4th session onwards, actually, I'm recording the session now. So I will record from my behalf, and you can also record from your behalf. And
sir, if you share on some like Google Drive or something you can store somewhere, so that we can have access and we can go through the video whenever we found any doubts and if we want to revise anything. Like,
yes, Ankit, surely we'll do that.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Yeah, hi, this is Arun.
Hi, Arun.
I have just one question, like, would we be covering some admin part or?
Yeah, administration part we would cover. Okay, let me show you the course content I have. Let me show you the course content that we're going to cover. So this is on a very high level I've given here, the course content, where we are going to see architecture of HANA, modeling in HANA like creating attribute views, analytic views, calculation views, best practices in creating information models, currency conversions, variables in HANA, metadata import using SAP BODS, import export models, SQL script, CE functions, procedures, hierarchies, level hierarchies, parent and child hierarchies, restricted measures, joins, referential text, inner reporting. You have different reporting tools like Web Intelligence, Design Studio, Lumira, Analysis for Office, OLAP, data provisioning, configuration of SLT, transformation using ABAP, BODS, Business Objects Data Services, DXE, flat file uploads, administration in HANA. So coming to your question, what we are going to cover on the administration: backup recovery, client installation, ODBC connections, monitoring of HDB, multi-version concurrency control, IMDB installation, distributed system handling, cold backup, hot backups, persistency layer, user management, creating of users, managing of roles, templates, analytic privileges. All these will be part of administration. All right?
Okay. Yeah.
And coming from the project perspective, we are going to cover COPA Accelerator and BW powered by HANA. These are the topics like in-memory DSOs, in-memory cubes, transient providers, composite providers. All these are the part of BW and HANA. So in HANA, you basically have something called, if you click File, click Import, and here you have something called SAP Network BW models. All right?
Yeah.
So that will be part of the BW integration. Yes, please. Someone was about to ask some question in between.
Yeah, this is Dheeraj here.
I'm sorry. Please, could you please be a little louder? I'm unable to hear you.
This is Dheeraj here.
Hi, Dheeraj.
Yeah, I would like to ask that will this the remote access of that, or we have to install in our system?
No need. You basically have to, if you go to MSTSC, we have to type MSTSC. So once you have the remote desktop, whether it could be Mac or Windows system, you have to type in the IP address. I would give you a username and password. So for now, so it's something like this. I'll just show you. So we're going to create something like this, all the users. So we're going to give you one user for each person. Yeah?
Okay.
So each person will get a user, and this is the access that you're going to get.
Okay.
So this will be there for almost 3 months. It will be given for you. And later on, if you want to extend the user access, you can extend the user access. But it's up to your choice.
Okay, fine. And I would like to ask one more question. That after completion of this course, what are the possibilities to get a job for fresher?
For fresher, 100%. There is a lot of, see, basically when I started my career back in 2011, I was the first HANA certified consultant in Asia Pacific. I was only one person, and then at the same time I got the job in GSK, GlaxoSmithKline. I worked almost for 1 year in GSK, and then almost for other 6 months I worked in Deloitte. So why I'm saying this is because during that time also the jobs were there, then there were very little people, but there are tremendous openings now. Market is. Market is very huge now. There are a lot of openings. There are a lot of openings in coming year.
So once we
You could expect. Actually, this market needs to come 2 years before itself by the hype of HANA. But now, really, it has come to a reality wherein there are around more than 4,200 customers already implemented HANA.
Okay. No, thing is that actually I am working in the government organization. I am leaving that and switching to this. That's why I'm asking this.
No, but yeah, there are a lot of openings are there. But only thing is, most important is, you need to have at least, you need to dedicate from my understanding, you have to dedicate yourself at least 15 hours per week. 10 to 15 hours you have to dedicate for yourself to learn this.
That I'll do.
Just from that is from, if you have that, it's okay. Then you can take it up.
Once we complete this training, which certification we can go for after completing this training?
Yeah, you can go for SAP HANA Application Consultant, and again in HANA Application Consultant you have two trainings over there. Two certifications. One is called Associate level, and the second one is called Professional level. So Associate level is an entry level. Professional is little experienced person, like 3+ years in HANA. So you can write an associate level.
And is it possible to directly go for a certification? I mean,
Please, could you please mute? Yes, you can go directly for a certification, but in India, especially, what happens is you need to have an authorized letter from your employer that you would like to take HANA certification. That is one thing. But if you are in abroad, you can freely write certification in the Pearson Education Center. You can write associate as well as professional. But in India, there are little limitations because certification is especially based on country to country. The rules change from country to country. So you can go for an associate in India, but you need to have an authorized approval letter. Or what you can do is, in Jan of every year, you have something called TechEd, which is conducted. SAP Technical Education, which is called SAP TechEd. In that TechEd, you can register and write the certification. That is the other choice.
And then what is for professional level? What is the requirement?
The professional level, if you're outside India, you don't have any prerequisite. But in India, you need to have work experience of at least 3 years experience. Okay. Outside India, you can just freely write the
associate level. There is
no, there is no work experience required.
Okay.
Okay. So and when we will have next class?
The next class will be tomorrow.
Same time?
Same time? Yeah, same time. But we'll send a confirmation email on that. I'll just talk to my back office people and they'll confirm the class tomorrow. I'll just send in a regular class link to you. All right?
Yeah. Nagarjuna, this is Arun once again.
Yeah, Arun, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, I just inquired long back, and today I got a call from your back office to attend the demo. So I really don't know the process actually. Can you brief out, how the process will go? Like, how do you payment and do the payment and the material, everything. Yeah.
The process is something like once you listen the demo, you will be allowed to listen 3 classes, and after that you need to do the registration. So once you complete the registration, all the formalities like giving the system access, providing the material, providing the certification material, all the required documentation will be given to you, and then you will be given a recording option that you can record sessions from your end, and I will also record sessions from my end, and reviewing of your assignments, clearing of your doubts, everything will be starting from then, and whatever you have. That is the daily process now.
Yeah, and regarding the fee structure and all, I do not have any information. So
that will be discussed from the back office, because I'm only the trainer here. Because I'm only the trainer over here.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, thanks.
So we will be given that certification material as well, this HANA 100, 300 and 900.
Yeah, you'll be given the original SAP certification material, which is based on the latest service pack. And also I would give you the certification dumps which will be relevant in the examination. For professional
questions, right?
Yeah, for professional as well as for associate, I'll give everything to you.
Okay. So I think that would be all from my side.
Okay, so if you don't have any questions, I will leave for today, and let's meet tomorrow. And thank you so much for your time and attending the demo. And good morning and good night. Thank you.
Yeah,
Same to you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, oh, that one.